you know, we've talked about the shot shells. So the cartridge casings were 300 blackout cartridge casings that were found by Maggie. There were also cartridge casings found by your house, by the side door to the gun room, and at the shooting range.
Okay.
And the ones by the house and some of the ones found at the shoot range are confirmed matches to the ones found by Maggie.
Okay.
So, which gives another concern. I've got the same load as the shot shells in multiple guns and 300 blackout that match ones found on your property.
So you now believe that those guns, that Paul's guns were used?
Yes.
Okay.
And missing.
All right, sir. I left the house without my watch.
12:57.
All right, Mr. Murdaugh, just state your full name for me, please.
Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
And spell your last name so I get it correct.
Murdaugh.
All right. And you go by Alex?
Yes, sir.
And date of birth, Mr. Murdaugh? And a good phone number for you. All right, sir. And sir, what was your name?
Yeah, Danny Henderson.
Okay. All right. As I stated, I'm David Owen in Lower Rutland with Colleton County, and I'm with SLED. I hate to have to do this.
I understand.
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
So you don't have any problem
Yeah.
with it.
So, just start at the top, take your time.
Like when I came back here, I mean, I pulled up and I could see them, and you know, I knew something was bad. I ran out. I knew it was really bad. My boy over there, I could see it was.
Sorry.
And I could see his brain on. And I ran over to Maggie, and actually, I think I tried to turn Paul over first. You know, I tried to turn him over, and I don't know, I figured it out. His cell phone popped out of his pocket. I started to try to do something with it, thinking maybe, but then I put it back down really quickly. Then I went to my wife, and I mean, I could see.
Did you touch Maggie at all?
I did. I touched them both.
Okay.
I tried to take, I tried to do it as limited as possible, but I tried to take their pulse on both of them. And you know, I called 911 pretty much right away, and she was very good. I talked to her. I told her I was going to get off the phone to call some family members. I did that.
What family members did you call?
I called my brother Randy, and I called my brother John. And I tried to call a little boy, real good friend that's right around the corner from here, but I didn't get him.
Okay. What all was around Paul when you walked up?
Blood.
Anything else?
I mean, there were some body things, yes, sir.
I mean, like any other evidence? I know you said the phone fell out the pocket, but did you see anything else that didn't belong or shouldn't belong or that wasn't part of Paul?
No, sir, not the, no, sir.
How about Maggie?
No, sir.
You didn't see anything around them? What made you come out here at night?
I went to, my mom's a late stage Alzheimer's patient. My dad's in the hospital. My mom gets anxious when she does. I went to check on them and Maggie. Maggie's a dog lover, and she fools with the dogs. And I knew she'd gone to the kennel. I was at the house. I left the house and went to my mom's for just a little while. Tried to call her when I left. Texted her, no response. When I got back to the house was obviously nobody was in there. So I figured they're still up here fooling around. Paul was gonna be getting set up to plant. Our sunflower seeds got sprayed and died, and he was refiguring to plant the sunflower seeds.
Okay.
So I came back up here and I drove up and saw and called.
Had Maggie and Paul been arguing over anything?
No.
What was their relationship like?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How about yours and Maggie's?
Wonderful. I mean, I'm sure we had little things here and there, but we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
And yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
How old is Paul?
22.
Okay. You know his date of birth?
I do.
How about, what's Maggie's full name?
Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh.
And her date of birth, sir? Have y'all been having any problems out here? Trespassers, people breaking in?
None that I know of. The only thing what comes to my mind is my son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago, and there's been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that, and there's been a lot of people online just really vile stuff. But when Paul's out and about, I mean, people routinely, I don't think I know the full story, because I don't think they give it to me, but I mean, he's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot. So, but I mean, nothing like this.
Yeah. Any one person in particular or group of people?
I don't know.
that you could think of?
Not that I know, no, sir.
Has he, other than being assaulted, has he received any direct threats related to the boat accident?
Oh, yes. All the time he gets
recently?
Yes, sir. I mean, he gets them all the time.
Okay.
He gets them all the time.
What kind of, I mean,
I'm gonna kick your ass, you know. I've never been privy firsthand, you know.
Is that through social media or?
No, ma'am. It's mostly like if he goes out places is what, you know, what he goes out like somewhere. He's in college, so if he goes out, is what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I can find out better details from some of his younger friends on that.
Who's his best friend?
His best friend in Colombia is Will's Chapman, Will Loving, Bobby Boyle. Bobby Boyle, Will Chapman, and Paul were getting ready to move into a house together in Colombia.
You said Will Chapman and Will Loving?
Will's with an S,
okay.
Chapman, and Will with an L, Loving.
Okay.
Around here, his best friends are clearly Nolan Tootin and Rogan Gibson.
Tootin? Nolan Tootin?
Yes, sir.
And what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Rogan Gibson.
Have you talked with any of these guys tonight?
Talked with Nolan, yes, sir.
Is he out here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I tried to call Rogan, was one of the people he's the boy that I told you lives around the corner.
Okay.
That's very, you know, he's just a good, helpful young man. You mind if I open the door really quickly?
Go right ahead. Do what you need to do. So is there anybody that you can think of that we need to talk to tonight? Is there a name that comes to mind?
I mean, I can't tell you anybody that I'm overly suspicious of off the top of my head.
Okay.
You know? I mean, this is such a stupid thing. I'm even embarrassed to say it. But it just didn't make any sense. I just hired a guy out here, and he wasn't cutting the mustard, but I hadn't told him this yet. Paul's been working with him a lot. He killed the sunflower seeds in our dove field just recently, which is why Paul was here doing this. He told Paul a story the other day about how when he was in high school, he got in a fight with some black guys. And the FBI undercover team observed him fighting those guys and put him on an undercover team with 3 Navy SEALs. And that their job was to kill radical Black Panthers. And they did that from Myrtle Beach to Savannah. Now, I really don't think this guy, you know, is probably the person, but that's just so freaking.
Yeah, that's kind of far-fetched story.
It's weird. But he was off today.
Okay.
He took his daddy to the doctor.
What's his name?
CB Rowe.
ROWE?
Yeah, and I sent him a message to text me earlier today about the sunflowers, and he called me back when I was on the way to my mom's house.
Did you talk to him at that time?
Briefly, I was on the phone with a lawyer friend of mine named Chris Wilson from Bamberg, so I told him I'd call him back tomorrow, see him in the morning.
When you briefly talked to Mr. Rowe, what was his demeanor or attitude? Or
I mean, it seemed normal. I mean, I asked him about the sunflowers, and so, you know, I mean, I'm sure he's a little bit.
Where does he live?
I don't exactly know. Somewhere in in Bronson.
Okay. Do you have his phone number?
I do.
You got it with you, please, sir?
I do. You know, but I do think him and Paul got along pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just really, really weird. All right.
You need to get that phone on the charge, Alec, if you can.
Is that an iPhone?
Yes, sir.
Watch your leg for a second, please.
Thank you.
When did he tell that story to Paul?
Sometime last week.
Okay.
Sometime last week. My son Paul actually, and I really do not think, on all honesty, that it's him, but I know y'all got to check it out. But Paul was so taken aback by it that he sent, I'll find it, I got it on my phone. He recorded him saying bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
No. But for all his weirdness, I mean, I do think they got along
Okay.
pretty good.
How long had he been working here?
I guess about 3 or 4 pay periods, so 8 weeks, a couple months.
Okay. Going back to the boat incident, anybody on that boat really have a hard-on for Paul that you would think would come after him, or know of any direct threats from people on the boat?
I don't know of any direct threats between any of the people on the boat specifically, but I do think there's been a small amount of yip yap between a couple of them, but not recently.
Okay.
Most of this was stuff from people that Paul didn't really know.
Okay.
It was some people that he knew distantly, but more times than not, when I learned about it, it was somebody that he didn't know.
Okay.
It's like, for example, he went out in Charleston a couple months ago, came back, he got a black eye. And, he can't defend himself right now because he has these charges. So, Paul was a real tough man's man.
Mm-hmm.
He would just...
He would defend himself, but he hadn't been.
That's right, but...
How was he handling that case? Looming over everybody?
As far as what?
How was he handling it?
I've never been prouder of him than the way he has handled the pressures and the adversity in that situation. I think I've told Danny that before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Paul is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful kid. He can do almost anything. He gets along with almost anybody.
Do y'all store any weapons out here?
We don't store them, but they're frequently out here.
Mm-hmm.
I need to find out if there were any out here, because I know there was a shotgun. There was a 12 gauge shotgun out here. I'll have to find out exactly when that was. I think it got put up, but I'm not positive.
What did that shotgun look like?
It was a camouflage. I want to say it was a Benelli or maybe a Beretta. I can't remember which brand it is. But I don't think it was out here
Okay.
recently. But I'm not positive.
And the shotgun that you had when deputies pulled up, where did that come from?
I went to the house and I got a gun. Probably overreacting, but.
And was that when you pulled up and saw them?
No, I mean, I came out and I called 911 first.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to them for a little while, and then I told her.
You told her
that I was going to go to the house.
Okay.
And that I would let authorities know when they got here that I had a gun.
Okay. Do you happen to have a list of all your guns?
I can make one. I don't have one, but
Yeah.
I can make one.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, so we could compare if that shotgun was out here and now it's missing.
Absolutely.
Try to figure that out.
No, absolutely.
And I know living out here in the country, you probably have more than one or two.
We do. We probably have 20, 25 guns.
Yeah. Shotguns, rifles.
Pistols.
Any rifles?
Yes, sir.
What kind of rifles?
All kinds.
Yeah.
All kinds. I mean, you name it across the board, we have them.
Okay.
And I mean, all of them we have are, in a hunting room in our house.
What was their schedule today? When did they get home?
My son works for my brother, and he was coming home to deal with the sunflowers. He got here. He got here pretty early because he and I rode around looking at everything for a good little while, probably 45 minutes to an hour. Maggie had things she did in Charleston, and she had a doctor's appointment in Charleston, and she got back here. It was fairly late.
Was it dark yet when Paul got home?
No, Paul got home early.
Early, okay. So before dinner time? Before
Oh, yes, ma'am.
lunchtime? Or?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
What brother does Paul work for?
John Marvin.
And what does Paul do for him?
Everything.
Just handyman?
Yes, sir.
Was it unusual for Maggie to feed the dogs this time of night or check on them?
Oh, no. I mean, she played with those dogs all the time. And it's especially common for her to, she's been gone for a while, to come and let especially two of them out to run.
Okay, so she pretty regularly comes out here in the evenings?
Very regularly.
Okay.
She comes out here a lot.
Do you have any cameras on your property?
I have deer cameras, but none, around up here
Where are they at?
on different deer stands.
Okay, so deep in the woods.
Well, not necessarily deep in the woods. Some of them are in fields and
Okay.
but there's none that are near here.
Okay.
What doctor did Maggie see today?
I forget the guy's name. Maggie's been having trouble with her. She's been having trouble with her stomach and her tooth. I'm not positive. It was sort of a routine visit, and I can't remember. She told me the name of him, and I can't. I want to say Gordine
Okay.
is who I think she saw.
So was she back home around supper time? Or 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
I don't think she got back quite that early. I think she got back a little bit later than that.
Okay. What did you do today? Were you at the office or?
Nope, I was home. I came home. Paul and I messed around. I was up at the house. I laid down, took a nap on the couch, probably, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. I got up, I called Maggie, didn't get an answer, and I left to go to my mom's. She had said she might ride with me, but she normally doesn't when I go over there. And I think I texted her. And she's very good about answering the phone, so that was odd, or calling me back. So that was odd, but it wasn't that big a deal.
Now, what time was that?
What time was what?
That you sent her a text message.
All right. I texted her at 9:08, going to check on M, be right back. And then I texted her at 9:47. That must be when I started to come back. I think I called her before that, but let me make sure. Pretty sure that I called her 9:45. And then I tried Paul. And then, no, I think that was riding. I think that might have been riding over there. $10:03. I mean, my calls are right here.
Yeah.
So, obviously this is when I, at 10:06, can I have a piece?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Take a go.
Anybody else want some gum?
No, sorry.
You don't have any water, do you, Danny? That's all right. I don't need it.
If you, behind Danny's head is a case of water.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I got some right here.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure we're going to have much more questions.
I'm available at, you let me know.
What, what's another number in case I can't get you on your cell?
I don't have a house phone.
Okay.
An office number. I can give you my brother's cell phones.
All right. What's Randy's? And John's?
Jamar.
And you said your dad's in the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Which hospital? Charleston or
Savannah, Candler, St. Joseph's.
Is he doing okay or what's?
He's having a really, really hard time. He's got a lot going on. You know, he's doing okay given everything, but he's got a lot going on.
About Maggie's family, where are they?
Somerville.
Have you been in touch with them tonight?
Contacted, yes. I had my brother call Bart, the wife of his sister, and the husband of Maggie's sister, so that they could go and tell Maggie's parents. I felt like they needed to hear it in person, and they are going there and calling me. So they must not be there yet.
Maggie's parents in Somerville?
Yes, and her mom just had a knee replacement surgery, and her dad really has trouble getting around nowadays.
Do you have any other children?
I do. I have a 24-year-old.
That's right, you said. What's his name?
Buster. Well, Richard Alexander Jr.
Okay. He goes by Buster.
He goes by Buster.
Is he here tonight?
He's on his way.
Okay. Laura, you got anything?
This one's hard, but when you first saw Paul, you said you tried to flip him over. Was he laying on his back or on his stomach?
Just like he
Just like he is. So you weren't able to move him. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did he help Maggie a lot out here with the animals?
He helped everybody with everything.
Okay, so it was kind of routine for him to be out here as well in the evening?
This place is his absolute passion.
Okay.
I tried to turn him, and then I checked him, and I think I already knew, but I checked him.
And when you first pulled into the property, did you come from this direction where all our police cars are, or which way did you come in?
I went to the house.
Okay.
And then I came from the house
this way,
straight here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Where my vehicle was parked is probably
is where it was. Okay.
Well, no, maybe not exactly, but it was pretty close because I came back the same route.
That's right, because you went back to get your shotgun
when I came back.
All right. I can't think of anything else right now, but we'll certainly be in touch.
Thank y'all for everything y'all are doing.
Yes, sir. So just to kind of let you know what's going to go on, we're going to be out here for quite some time. The coroner will take custody of Paul and Maggie.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What? No, we're finished. Let me come out. Well, I'll be here when he gets here. No, don't let him come up here. Okay, yeah. I think we're about done. All right, thank you. I'm sorry.
Buster, in here? Okay.
Yes, sir. I dropped my card.
We'll get you another one.
Sorry.
I'll get you one.
There you go.
Thank you.
So the coroner will come over and talk to you. They'll do the autopsy and everything, and then go from there.
Thank you.
But we'll come to you before we leave.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Rutland.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Here, you want this water?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Yep.
Can I take this call really
Yes, sir.
quick?
Go
This
right
is
ahead.
my sister-in-law.
Yes, go ahead.
And she's trying to. Hey, Marion. Okay, Lynn, Marion, when I'm meeting with law enforcement, so I'll call you in just a minute.
Thanks. I don't have a card.
That's fine.
Did Chelsea call you? Okay. Okay. Can you let Chelsea know and then make her run Lynn down? Okay, well, tell her to go get Christy to find Lynn. Get any one of the secretaries to find her. All right. Thank you. Sorry to put that on you. Bye. Sorry about that.
That's all right. One thing I want to do before we start is I'd like to get a cell phone exam so we can just corroborate everything. Let me get a consent, and I got a guy here that's going to do it.
Are you gonna download it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
So I'll get to keep my phone?
Yes, sir.
Good.
How much attorney-client privilege stuff is on there?
A lot.
Okay. We do have a taint attorney that's going to examine it before we ever do.
What is a tank attorney?
A taint attorney, they look at somebody who's not affiliated with the case that makes sure that there's, Jim, do you know?
Yeah,
Can
sure.
you explain it better?
Sure. And I mean, it's a privileged attorney that doesn't, if there is attorney-client privilege information, it's redacted or extracted by the taint attorney.
How do they know who's a client?
I know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
You know what?
But
If y'all get some
whoever
attorney-client
that
stuff.
is, would go through me. And
So,
we'd work through it.
signature.
Just write your name here.
So, Alec, I've had situations where they
It's
say,
not a big deal.
give me a list of all his clients or something like that,
I'll fill out the rest.
I think the big thing, Joe, is, when you download that phone, I don't know if emails come with it or not, because that's probably where all this attorney-client privilege stuff.
And we can actually isolate the emails.
Yeah, that's probably the thing. You don't text clients, but
No, I do. I text a lot of clients.
okay.
I'm not a big emailer.
Is that an 11 or 12, or do you know?
I do not know.
Okay.
I can tell you that in the case for you if you want me to. You look at the back, it should have a number.
Give me some later.
And what was your date of birth again, Mr. Murdaugh?
2768.
And the last four of your
Then
social.
we'll get on that.
Seven
You get like
7483. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
doesn't say anything on it.
Most of the new ones don't.
Probably have to open it up.
Oh, well, it's got.
Jim, you want to witness that for me, please?
And if you got a passcode or.
My passcode is.
All right, let me run this till I'll be right back.
Where are you from, sir?
I'm actually from Barnwell.
Oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
I got some cousins in Barnwell.
Got people in Barnwell too. Mixon.
Mixing oil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my.
You kin to Dickie Mixon?
I don't know. That Mixon oil was my Uncle Ray Mixon and his son Teddy and Bobby and a bunch of them. Then Freddie Mixon, he was.
Oh, I knew Freddie Mixon very well.
And his wife Etta and Jill.
Mr. Freddie goes to Elko Church.
Yeah, not anymore. He did.
I mean, we went.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
Well, I was at his funeral. He had a tiger paw casket at the funeral. He's a big Clemson guy.
You know Big John Bedingfield, don't you?
Oh yeah.
I know John.
That's my cousin
Okay.
in Sweet Caroline.
John's son and my son are the same age. They were in school together.
So you grew up in Barnwell?
Yes, sir.
All right. right, sir. So he's got it and he's taking care of that.
But I get it back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, sir. So when we spoke the other night, I got kind of a basic overview.
Yes, sir.
And it was pretty traumatic.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I know
so,
you need to ask me. You ask me what you need to.
So I want you to, let's start Monday morning and take me through your day.
Monday morning, you know, did I do Monday morning? My wife and my older son had gone to the baseball games that weekend. You know, I really can't remember what I did Monday. I know I went to work, but you know, I think I was dragging a little bit from the weekend, but I went to work. I usually mess around on my farm, and then I go to work. I was at work. You know.
Were you at the office in Hampton, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I was at my office in Hampton. You know, I mean, I was just at my office doing
Legal work?
Yes, sir. I'm sure I can go back and probably recreate some specifics if you need me to, but I can't like sit here and recall on the top of my head exactly what I was working on. I know one thing I was working on was we had some big motions coming up in a Dominion Energy case. I was getting ready for those. And I was getting ready for some motions. I'm a defendant in a civil case involving my son. I told you about the boat wreck.
Yes, sir.
And there were some motions coming up in that on Thursday, and I was mostly just getting ready for those things, and then other junk.
What time did you leave the house to go to the office?
I'm not sure.
Who all was at the house when you left?
To go to my office that morning?
Or when you got up, who was at the house?
I'm sure my wife was. And I can't remember if Blanca had made it out there yet or not.
And who was Blanca?
Blanca is our housekeeper.
Okay.
And she comes different. She doesn't have set hours, but she comes most days. She'll be able to tell you if I was there when she left or not. I can't remember.
And so you went to the office, you did, some motions. What time did you leave the office?
I left a little bit earlier than normal because my son Paul was coming home. Because he had not been with us during the weekend, and he was coming home. We were going to replant some sunflowers the next day. And so he was calibrating, doing and getting everything ready. So he got home a little early. I left a little early so he and I could knock around, and we knocked around for, just doing things we like to do out there. We're riding around looking at food plots, looking for hogs, a little bit of target shooting, just bullshit.
Yeah. You said Paul wasn't with you over the weekend. Where does he live with you at the house on Moselle?
Well, I mean, that's his home, but he has an apartment in Columbia.
Okay.
And he goes to Charleston a lot of weekends with his buddies.
Okay.
And he had been in Charleston for the weekend. Okay. And then Paul works for my brother John. This out here, you met John.
Yes, sir.
So Paul works for him. So Paul decided to he went to spend the night with my brother, his Uncle John. They were very, very close.
Okay.
Sunday night.
Okay.
And then he worked for John Marvin, and he came home Monday afternoon.
Okay. About roughly what time in the afternoon?
I would think it'd be somewhere in the 5 o'clock range, a little bit. It was broad daylight when we were, it wasn't dusk, dark, or late.
Okay.
And we rode, we just rode around. We rode around our dove field looking at how the corn was doing. He and I had planted corn in the dove field, and he planted the corn in the duck pond, and he was, showing me how much better his corn was doing than mine was. And we rode around the duck pond. I mean, we just you know, we rode the property.
Yes, sir.
You know, we rode the property. Then, you know, I mean, we rode around so much. We just rode.
Okay.
Probably. It was a good little while. It was more than 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And, you know, was it 2 hours? I don't know. I'd say it was more than an hour probably.
Really wasn't keeping track of time.
And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't getting dark. Mama wasn't home yet. She had gone to a doctor's appointment. So, you know.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, target practice, what y'all shooting?
Just a little bottle. You give me what gun?
Yeah.
A 22 Magnum.
Rat shot.
I think. No, it wasn't rat shot. I think he shot 2 times and I shot 1 time.
Okay. So after y'all got finished riding around, try to take me through the rest of the evening.
All right. You know, at some point we were all back at the house together. Maggie had gotten home, and you know, we sat down, we ate supper, which we usually eat supper together. The one thing I remember, I don't know how much detail y'all want, so if I start talking about something that you don't need, just tell me and I'll move to something else.
The more detail, the better, sir.
So Paul has been having high blood pressure, and his mama was worried sick about it. So we were actually, you know, this was a direct thing, getting him, he doesn't like to go to doctors, making him go get his blood pressure checked. His feet had swollen up recently.
Wow.
So, you know, it was a big, huge deal.
Okay.
You know, we hung around the house for a little while. I know that Maggie went to the kennels. I don't know exactly where Paul went, but he left the house too.
Okay. How did Maggie get down to the kennels?
I don't know exactly, but on normal occasions, she would drive a buggy, drive a 4-wheeler, or very common for her to walk.
Okay. How about Paul?
Paul wasn't much of a walker, but he would use all of the others.
Okay.
But I mean, it could be anyway, you know? I don't know exactly. I wish I could help you with that.
So they left and went down to the kennels.
Well, Maggie went to go to the kennels.
Okay. Paul left.
And I'm assuming, you know, Paul left.
Okay.
Because of, you know,
Gotcha.
What happened. I mean, I'm assuming Paul went to the kennels.
Okay. And what did you do once Maggie and Paul left?
I stayed in the house.
Okay.
And I was watching TV, looking at my phone, and I actually fell asleep on the couch.
Okay. And what time did you?
You know, I don't know exactly what time I woke up, but when y'all get my phone, you know, I think one of the first things I did when I got up was call Maggie because I was going to my mom's. And I know I texted her because I checked my phone. And what time did we say the text was, Jim? Like 9:06.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I got it written down from the other night.
I showed you the other night, didn't I?
Yes, sir. I got this.
So, you know, I texted her. So I called her just before that. And, I mean, she didn't answer at that point. And I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
Y'all will just have to look. I'm not sure if I called Paul.
Well, and that's why we're getting the phone, so we can nail down the times and everything.
So I left, I drove. Well, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all this, even though I think it's kind of crazy. You know, I was certain that I heard them pull up. I mean, I was positive that I heard, and people don't just come out there. You know, we don't get like passed through. I was certain that I heard them pull up, but they didn't.
Okay. Well, if you heard something pull up, what did it sound like?
You know, I can't tell you what it sounded like. I just know that I thought that my wife had pulled up, or that Paul had pulled up.
Would it have been the buggy that she normally drives, or would it be a car?
No. I had the impression that a car pulled up.
Okay.
You know,
And had you woken up by that time, but hadn't left for your mom's?
Yep.
Okay.
But it wasn't much time in between there because I left pretty damn close. It wasn't much time between me waking up and me leaving the house.
Okay.
And when I went outside, you know, there's a wild cat that lives around that house.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was the cat that ran from my car, but you know, I never had the impression it was a person, but there was something.
Okay.
You know, but I really don't think, you know, I'm just throwing that out there because it was in my mind.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's totally fine.
I left. I drove to my mom's. I checked on my mom.
She lives right out here, correct?
She lives at Alameda.
Okay.
Checked on my mom. Talked with Shelly for a few minutes. You know.
Shelly is
the caregiver.
Okay.
And you know, I know that I called some people on the way there. I know I returned a call from my brother John. I know that I called Chris Wilson. I know that I talked to Buster. So I made a few phone calls.
Okay.
And
where was Buster?
Buster was in Rock Hill.
Okay. Is that where he lives, or?
No, he lives in Columbia, but he just started a new job. He's going back to law school in January.
Okay.
So he's working a little part-time job with Wild Wings.
Okay.
Through January.
Gotcha.
You know, just kind of killing time. And he was in, his girlfriend lives in Rock Hill. She's studying for the bar exam. So he had to be in Charlotte. So he was staying with her in Rock Hill, her and her mom.
Okay.
Can I open this door?
Yes, sir. All
right, so where are we? All right, so then I left
your
my mom's
and making phone calls.
I left my mom's and I went back home. I got to the house. I went inside. Nobody was there. I got in the car. I went back to the kennels and, you know.
And when you went back to the kennels, besides Maggie and Paul, did you see anybody, any cars?
I didn't see anything right then, no, sir.
Take your time.
You know, I saw Maggie and I saw Paul laying down. I knew, you know, I didn't know, you know, I knew it was bad. I went over there and, you know, I saw it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I called 911.
Okay. And what made you decide to go back to the house and get a gun?
I just think the whole scene had me freaked out.
Okay. Did you take your car back up there, or did you run up there?
No, I drove.
Okay. And of course, the shotgun that we have is the one you brought back.
They were asking me earlier. I'm not sure which one it was.
Jim, it was a 12 gauge. I know, yeah, Ronnie had a question if it was 12 or 20. It was a 12 gauge.
And it was that camo, though, right?
Yes, sir. I think it was the 12 camo Benelli.
Benelli. I think so.
But that's about all you got, Benelli out there, right?
And we talked about this a little bit the other night too. I know Paul had been getting some threats and getting some being assaulted from, you know, the boat. Who stands out in your mind, besides the boat incident? Who stands out in your mind that would want to come after Paul and or Maggie?
I mean, sir, I can't think of anybody who would want to go to that extreme. You know, I mean, he got a bunch of threats, mostly from, you know, I mean, I have no idea.
How would he receive most of those threats?
What do you mean?
I mean, would people call and hang up on him, or send him text,
No,
or
it wasn't so
social
much
media?
that. No, it was mostly like in-person confrontations, are the ones that I learned about. Now, I suspect his friends can probably tell you about more, because I doubt Paul told me about all of them.
Okay.
But I knew about a lot of them. You know, there were a lot of times where people would come up to him and he'd be like, they'd say something about, you know, you gonna tell me who was driving that boat, or you little piece of shit, were you driving that boat? You know, stuff like that.
Okay. Who did he go to Charleston with on the boat that weekend?
I don't know exactly. I know that, I mean, I know who his buddies are, but specifically who was on the boat with him, I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know, but I can give you a list of names of who it probably was.
So, Joe, I don't know if you want me to weigh in here. You may want to put your pens down, but a good buddy of mine's son went fishing with me yesterday out in the ocean, and he has a best friend, and his dad's name is Lee Chapman. But
Yeah.
the kid said, Lee's son said, that Paul slept on his couch in Charleston 2 nights before he was murdered. And so it's Lee Chapman's son. I can get his name. You probably know Lee's son. I don't, but he goes to the Citadel. But that's where Paul was.
Okay.
And I learned that yesterday out on a fishing trip with his happenstance.
Cool. I mean, yes, sir. If you could get me Lee Chapman's son's contact information.
There was a bunch of Chapman cousins that Paul was very close with. The closest one being Wills Chapman and Frank Chapman.
Wills Chapman is his name, but I'll get your number for him.
And Frank is John Chapman's son, and Wills is Lee Chapman's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where he was.
And those boys are, you know, they're just really good boys and friends of Paul's.
And one of them is Wills with an S, right?
That's
Correct.
right.
And Wills goes to the Citadel. That's you understand?
No, he's graduated from the Citadel.
Graduated from. Okay.
And Frank was in the Citadel, but I think he had some kind of, you know, academic troubles. But I mean, I'm telling you now, I can promise you that, I mean, those boys love Paul.
Well,
it's absolutely.
Well, you know, and I just want to talk to them about their weekend. And
sure.
Yeah.
I can tell you this, in riding around with Paul, he was his normal bright, you know, just, he was a really great kid.
So, being a dad myself, what was the biggest issue you had with Paul when you had to call him down and scold him or correct him? What was the biggest issue you had with Paul?
You know, I mean, irresponsibility. You know, he was ADHD. He was bad about jumping from, and he had so many wonderful qualities now, but he was bad about jumping from. He'd start this, maybe not quite finish it, do something else. And, you know, you'll find out from his friends, he had clothes strung out all over the state. He did that with clothes. He did that with guns. He did that with my boats.
He lost.
So.
He lost what?
He would misplace stuff or just leave stuff behind, right?
Yes, everywhere. I mean, he would go off for the weekend. Sometimes he wouldn't pack clothes because he's got clothes in somebody's house. I mean, Paul was one, he wouldn't understand how you go out, you know, you and a girl go out on a date. He liked the crowd.
And who was his girlfriend?
He didn't have a girlfriend right now.
Okay.
Alex, last time I talked to him was like 2 weeks ago, although we texted. He was going to Greenville for the weekend. I mean, he had friends up there, girlfriend up there?
No, we had a family thing in Greenville, and he came up, Paul didn't play golf. He came up on Friday and stayed Saturday, and then he left to go to Charleston, and we stayed another day to play golf.
Okay. I thought maybe he had a girl.
My niece on my wife's side is having a baby,
Okay.
and we went up for that.
And you said on Monday Maggie had a doctor's appointment in Charleston. And I know we talked about this on Monday. Do you recall the doctor that she went to, or for what the reason was?
Maggie had a couple little things going on, and I personally think she was going to see Dr. Gordine, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's who it was. I can find out
Yeah.
specifically though. Her mom will know.
Okay. And you said she and Buster were at the ball games all weekend?
Yes.
Was that
With me.
with you? And what ball games?
Carolina Regional.
They didn't make it past those, did they?
No.
Okay. Did Paul? Well, no, Paul was in Charleston, so he didn't hang out with y'all that weekend.
No, sir.
And what time did Maggie get back home Monday night?
It was after Paul and I had gone. She was not there when Paul and I left to go mess around.
Okay.
So, it was sometime after that. So there was a point when, she got back, we got back.
When y'all got back from riding around and messing around on the farm, was she home or?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I don't believe she'd been home too long when.
And what's her car? That Mercedes that's out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you said Bianca had prepared dinner that night.
Yeah, Blanca cooked dinner that night because Maggie cooks, when the boys are home, or she tries to really for me, but she wasn't going to be there that day, so she had Blanca cook a meal.
How is your relationship with Maggie?
Very good. As good as it could possibly be. I mean, we had our issues, but wonderful.
And I'm just trying to understand the family dynamic.
I understand you got to do what you got to do, I promise.
What was y'all's biggest arguments? What your biggest the things that y'all would argue about the most, what would they be over?
I mean, we really didn't argue, but I'd say the only thing that caused any friction between us is she was always wanting us to go, and I love her in-laws. I mean, they're wonderful people. I love them to death. She was always wanting to go there, stay there a little longer than me and the boys wanted to stay. That was really, and it really, she'd get ticked off.
Yeah.
You mean her family? You said her in-laws. You mean her family?
I mean her family.
Your in-laws. Yeah.
I mean, we really didn't argue about much. We didn't have much to argue about. I mean, I'm sure there was an occasional thing that came up that we argued about, but I can't tell you what it is. I can't think of it.
Yeah. Take your time. Go ahead. Tissues.
I'm sorry.
You go.
I mean, she was a wonderful girl and a wonderful wife. And she was a great mother. She didn't work. And she always said it was her job. Since she was privileged enough not to work, she was going to make sure she took care of me and the boys. And I mean, she did everything. She did absolutely everything. I'm sorry.
No, you have every right to do
I'm good. You go ahead.
That afternoon or during the time you and Paul were riding.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all go up to around the kennels or anything? Did y'all do anything up toward the kennels?
I'm sure we did. You know, that's our main shop is, you know, right there. But, you know, I mean, we're normally in there for long times tinkering. And I will say that particular day, we did not tinker around there a bunch, you know?
Okay.
When y'all rode around the farm, what were y'all? Were y'all in the truck or?
Well, we were actually in two trucks. We rode in one truck and then we rode in another truck some. One was the black one and one was the white one that was out there.
Okay.
Mr. Alec.
Yes, sir.
You know, the other day when we were there, we came in and we were talking with John a little bit.
Sure.
And you obviously got a lot of, I say a lot, you said 20 or 25 weapons.
Yes, sir.
And you know kind of what you got as far as any kind of, what kind of weapons you may have?
I'm pretty much, yes, sir.
I know you might not remember them all, but can you kind of run down what you, for us, kind of what you had, what you got, you know, got there?
That I own or that's in there now?
That you own.
All right. That I
Or that's
own.
in there, you know, or wherever they're at.
And, you know, I mean, Paul has guns scattered all over the place. So, you know, some of our guns aren't there. But, so you want to know all of them or you want to know what I think is in my house? Or what was in my house on Monday?
Yeah, what was in your house? Let's start with what was in your house on Monday.
Okay, whatever was in my house on Monday is exactly what was there minus one shotgun that y'all got.
Okay.
No guns have been moved for, you know, there hadn't been any guns moved in and out of there other than when Paul was home. You know, when Paul came home, he would ride around and shoot hogs a lot.
What would he shoot hogs with?
You know, I mean, primarily he would shoot them with Buster's gun. Because Paul had a 300 blackout.
Okay.
And it got, you know, he says it got stolen. You know, and it's been gone for some time. But anyway, so he would use his brother's blackout a lot of times.
So Buster also had a 300.
I gave them both one.
Okay. When was that?
About years ago.
Okay. More than a year ago.
More than a year ago.
Okay.
All right. So, but he would do anything. Paul had this, you know, like a little light that I used that night. Paul would take that thing up to, you know, by 308, and I mean he was always rigging something. You know, so
Going back.
sometimes shotguns when he would go try to kill the hogs, because you know the piglets would be grouped up, but normally he would have a rifle when he went to shoot the pigs. So, all right. So going back to the guns, y'all want me to tell y'all what was in there? Don't y'all? I mean, have an inventory.
I videoed the thing. I didn't write down everything that you had. I just took a random, just like a recording of what was on the gun rack or on the gun wall in the gun room that day.
And there are some more guns that aren't in that gun room, you know. I don't know how many, but
Okay.
you know, like I do know there's a shotgun in my bedroom.
And I think Miss Katie, Agent Katie, walked with John and saw that one.
Okay. And I imagine there's probably some in some other rooms. I know that I think it was we have two gun cases, one small one and one big one, and I moved some guns from the little case to the big case just because, you know, her mom and dad were in there, and I just took all the guns to the back room. But that's after the fact.
Were those guns? Would those guns have been in the room, in the gun room when we came up there with John?
I can't remember exactly when y'all came, but probably. I think y'all came a little bit because it was a good while before y'all came.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
probably
they were
2 o'clock or so that afternoon before we got there.
Now, did y'all keep any guns out at the kennels?
We didn't keep guns out there, but there were always guns out there.
Okay.
You know? I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you, we were all a little bit bad about it, but Paul was the worst. You know, he was the worst.
He would leave a gun out there?
He would leave anything anywhere. And, you know, it was not unusual for there to be guns out there.
Did y'all take the
But, like, I can tell you that, I mean, they told me that the 300 blackout was used in this. That 300 blackout, you know, it was not out there.
so y'all didn't use that for target practice, or he didn't have it out there with them on Monday?
No.
Okay. No, that's right, because it was in the house. So Paul said that one was stolen or lost, and it was some time ago. Was that reported anywhere?
It wasn't officially reported because I wasn't totally convinced it was stolen.
Okay.
You know, as opposed to lost. But I mean, you know, there were people told about it.
Yeah.
I know that I told John Bedingfield about it. I know that I told some other local officers about it, you know, just in case it turned up in a drug thing.
Okay.
But I didn't do an official report.
Okay.
The two that you bought for the boys, that each one of them had one, and the one Paul lost, is that the only ones that you have?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I thought that Paul got another one replaced, but Buster said we didn't. But I was certain that we did. But I mean, my memory is it's been gone for a substantial while too.
Okay.
Do you remember anything about them as far as were they the same colors?
They were identical except for colors.
Okay. Which one was Buster's?
Buster's the one we still have. Paul's the one that lost his.
Okay.
What were the two colors?
Black and tan. Buster's is black, Paul's was tan.
Okay. And you say you thought you replaced it after he lost it with another one, but Buster says you didn't?
I believe that we did.
Okay.
I mean, there'll be a record of that, won't it?
Should be, yes, sir.
I know we replaced it. But You know, I wouldn't. Yeah, I know we replaced it because I wouldn't replace it again. Maybe I just think that now. I don't know. But I'm certain we replaced it.
Have you talked to CB Rowe since Monday or Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
Because I know we talked about what he had done on the farm. Is he still employed?
He's still employed because I got to have somebody keeping it clean. But I mean, I can't keep him. I mean, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And, you know I told you, I don't know why that story seemed important to me the other night.
Yeah.
Well, I really can't see CB Rowe doing, I just can't. I really do not believe that.
Well, it's an odd story.
It's a messed up story.
And, and I just, being in law enforcement for so long and working these type cases, and I don't know the Arlington area, but talking to Colleton County and seeing the property and how isolated it is, finding somebody that's just going to randomly come up there that late at night that doesn't know the property, so of course I have to look within and then start working my way out.
So you feel like it's not random. You feel like it's intentional. I mean, planned.
I don't know what to feel right now. And I hate to say that. I don't know what to feel right now.
So do y'all have any good clues?
All of the evidence that we collected Tuesday morning, and we collected additional evidence on Tuesday afternoon. They collected evidence at autopsy today. So we're trying to put a rush on that to get an answer quick, and hoping that's going to tell us something. By
evidence, I mean, is it things you think are going to be helpful?
Well, I mean, the shot shells out there, the casings, the DNA swabs that we took from the door handle to see if anybody touched the door handles, any other places that we think somebody may have touched while they were out there. We're trying to collect DNA from that and analyze that. Which at the conclusion of this, what I'm going to also ask is that we get a buccal swab, a DNA swab from you.
No problem.
Your DNA is going to be there, but we need to eliminate it once it's developed.
We don't need that unknown when it actually is a family member.
There's no problem.
I mean, we have talked to close to 100 people trying to track people down, and we're still tracking people down. And that's why, who Paul was with.
I want to tell you one thing while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Paul was really an incredibly intuitive little dude.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he was like a little detective. And, I mean, Paul would, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Which leads me to, let's go back to Paul right quick while we're on him. So we have his phone. Do you know his passcode?
I don't. And I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a few people I can point you to.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that he was super, super, super secretive with that. I mean, cell phone. I asked his brother if he knew it. Did the ones that they got the other day didn't work?
Did y'all get any the other day?
Not for Paul's phone. No.
Okay. I know they got Maggie's code.
I know Maggie's.
Yeah.
And it works, or it worked.
Yeah.
I've not gotten it, but there's a lot of people out moving parts that may have gotten that information. So we'll follow up on it. If you believe somebody gave us a code for Paul's, a possible code for Paul's.
Maybe it was Maggie's. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'll find out. I will try to find out Paul's code.
Okay.
But it will surprise me greatly if somebody knows it.
I mean, certainly, talking about the investigation, certainly we're looking at every angle, trying to figure out what fits. And we're talking to, people that were involved in the boat case. We're trying to track down people that Paul knew and were friends with. That's why I asked who he was in Charleston with, so we can go try and see if they might know something or try to figure something out. We're trying to get into his phone to see if there's any information, see if he got like a direct threat from somebody there. I mean, the people that are here are not the only ones working on this. We've got people out doing things right now.
Thank you.
I mean, we're trying to pull everything in. Just the area, Arlington, unfortunately, there's not a lot of people moving around. I mean, I've got somebody looking at videos right now back at the office, combing through hours of videos that we've gone out and collected.
Well, thank y'all.
Yeah.
Very much.
So,
Mr. Alex,
You don't have to call me Miss. You just
I'm
call me
sorry.
Alec. Thank you for that
Alex,
courtesy.
when you and Paul got back to the house, Miss Maggie's there, and y'all eat supper, which has been prepared, and you said you laid down and took a little nap, and when you got up, Maggie and Paul was gone, or did they leave when you laid down? Or before you laid down?
I believe that I'm not sure.
But they weren't there when you woke up around the 9 o'clock mark or so when you made the call to Maggie to let her know you was going to your
No,
office.
nobody was in that house when I left.
So, and just trying to narrow that, the last time that you saw Paul and Maggie's when y'all were eating supper.
Yes, sir.
Up until you came back from your mom's and found what you found.
You guys, yes, Alex probably told you all this. He did check for a pulse.
Yes. Right, and that's why we want to do the DNA. Right.
But I suspect
Mm.
their DNA.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
I don't know.
Yes.
when you tried to turn Paul over, do you know if you tried to turn him like towards the kennels or away from the kennels and his phone fell out?
Away. I think I turned him away.
Okay. Was he left-handed or right-handed?
He was right-handed.
Where did he normally keep his phone?
I mean, usually in his hand.
Most.
But I mean, it was always on him. Pocket, hand, truck.
Where did Maggie carry her phone? Anywhere she could?
Yes, sir. Did y'all get fingerprints on her phone?
I haven't gotten that back yet.
When Paul's phone came out, did you just pick it up and put it on, place it back down on him, or?
Yeah, I did not try to open it or anything. I don't know how I had in my mind that I needed to not mess anything up. I had that, somehow I had that presence of mind that I needed to not mess anything up. And so I tried not to.
And you definitely saw a traumatic picture, and I know it's not hard, or not easy. I know it's hard. And sitting here talking today is tough.
It's just so bad. They did it so bad. He's such a good boy too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But you know, the little things that we've kind of
I understand
is necessary so that we can get a little better picture as to you know, to what may have happened.
Well, I just thank y'all for everything. You know, my in-laws, my parents, my in-laws. I would like somebody to update me or my brother or somebody so that I can tell them as y'all discover things. Unless there's some reason y'all don't do that.
Well,
I mean, they just have so many questions.
I understand. And
I mean, they may even, well, no, they don't need to do
well, I mean, I know Maggie's mother just had a knee replacement. How was their health overall, other than that?
You know, they're ailing a little bit. They're getting on up there. Daddy has some neuropathy, but I mean, they're in good physical health. They're in good, you know, their fortitude is good. They're just, you know, they're just getting age on them, you
Yes,
know?
sir. Yes, sir. Are they in Somerville or are they at the house on Moselle?
No, they didn't. They lived in Somerville.
Okay.
But they're here now.
Oh, they're here in this house?
No, they're in Moselle.
Okay. Because I mean, I'll go by and speak with them and meet with them. If you think that would help.
I think that would help a tremendous amount if you would just be willing just to sit down and let them. I mean, you know, hearing from me and John Marvin and Danny and whoever, what little tidbits y'all get, I just, you know what, I think it would give them peace of mind to know that y'all got a team of people out there on it.
Yes, sir.
And you know, just to really have something, you know, a tangible person instead of being told.
You got a contact number for them?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to get that.
Okay.
Have the ability to get the numbers that ping cell phone tower.
I'm so sorry.
And I know if y'all have the phone, y'all can then.
You're talking about the actual tower itself.
Yeah.
Her mom and dad are just such good people. I mean, they're just
Doing all
wonderful
that. Some
people.
of the other guys are back at the
Love
office.
her
and
so
we're dealing
much,
with
and
everybody we can deal with.
it really would make them feel good.
What
It's
what are their
a
names?
lot of technical.
My
information
father-in-law's
to be
name
out
is
for.
Terry.
But yes, we can.
My mother-in-law's name is Kennedy,
To also get
and they're Brandstetters. And my sister-in-law, who in her
Spell Brandstetter for me.
Branstetter, and then my sister-in-law, who was closest to Maggie in the whole world, is Marion Proctor. And her husband is Bart Proctor. And they live in Charleston.
Do you have a contact number for any
And Marion's, I don't have it by heart, but it's in my phone.
Okay.
I promise you, Alex, someone, if my life depended on it, I couldn't tell anybody, my mother-in-law or father-in-law's phone.
I'm telling you, man, I've been the luckiest person in the world with in-laws. I mean,
Yeah.
they are wonderful.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, it's my in-laws that I like. It's my wife's in-laws I don't.
There you go.
Let me grab a piece of paper. I'll be right back.
Here's Will Chapman's number.
Okay.
And I have a lot of his buddies' numbers in my phone. If you want me to dig them up.
And David, I'm gonna forward you this contact. Maybe you don't want me to do it like that, but
Okay.
someone sent me Will Chapman's
Could you hold on to
number.
that, please?
David. Contact information. Yeah, I think it's just the phone number. Yeah, all I got was the phone number.
All right. So we have victim's advocate, Miss Marion Walker.
Thank you.
That's her cell number.
Thank you.
There's some information for you on the back. In the victim's advocate program, they help with different things. I think more specifically, what would be more beneficial, especially for you and Buster, is some counseling down the road, grief counseling.
You know, I do some assistant solicitor's work.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, you're familiar with it.
Familiar with the thing. But thank you so
Yes, sir.
much.
I know y'all planned out the funeral today. When is the funeral?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Y'all have
Well,
visit.
we're doing a service tomorrow. Maggie and Paul aren't going to be ready until next week. So we're doing a service tomorrow, and then we're going to have a private family thing one day next week.
Okay. Okay. Are y'all doing anything tonight? Because I can run by and talk to Terry and Kennedy tonight.
I think the sooner you can come and talk to them, the peace of mind that would really help them.
Okay.
That's convenient for you. So we're out at the house tonight, but and if for some reason they go back early because of the service tomorrow, that they may be staying tonight, they may not be, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All of their cousins and family on the Brandstetter side and the Hubbard side is coming in from Kentucky. And so they may be going back to stay with them.
Okay.
I'll find out and call you. I think you called me.
Yes, sir. Jim's got my number.
Okay.
I gave him my card.
I'll find out and call you in just a minute.
Okay.
Neil sent me the contact.
You good? All right. Do you have any other questions that I might be able to answer right now that we hadn't gone over?
No, sir.
As soon as I get something, and if it's okay with you, John Marvin asked me to go through him.
That's fine.
So I'm not bothering you in case you're doing something. What time is the service tomorrow?
12 o'clock.
Okay. Where is that going to be?
Hampton.
What, at a church or?
It's graveside.
Okay. So if I get something around that time, I won't bother you. I'll wait 1:30 and.
If you get anything important, you can call me anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay. Are y'all going to publicize the service, or is it just going to be for family and friends?
No, sir. It's going to be, it's going to be open, but I got TC and those making sure I don't want any press anywhere near.
Yeah.
So,
No, they don't deserve to be near.
they're going to make sure, in the town of Hampton that, there's no press.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all got my numbers.
I think you said with that phone, it's gonna take a while.
I'm gonna go check on it. Y'all go back in the house. When it's done, I'll bring it to
Let me
you.
do the
The buckle. Yes. Let's do the buckle swab right quick.
You can sit where you at, Alex, and I'm gonna step out, but I got glove up and
Oh, what?
The buckle. The buckle swab.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Do I need to spit out my tobacco?
It might be better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I'll get everything together.
I'm doing the consent now.
That's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and where's your gloves at?
You didn't grab gloves?
I did not, but I know one of these vehicles has got gloves. I'm not in mine.
Damn, it's hot out there. Do I need to get out?
No, sir. You keep your seat right
I'm going
there.
to stay in this AC then.
Yes, sir. I got the other part. You hear me, Dave? I got the actual one you can write on the envelope.
Okay.
I'll let you fill out the envelope.
I really appreciate you taking the time to come meet with them.
Not a problem. This is what I do.
You ever have any dealings with a sled agent named Jarrett Maffett?
No, sir, I
You
don't.
said Maffett?
Yeah.
I know him.
He lived in that little green cabin up at my property.
Okay. Is anybody living that now?
No, the kids use it like in the summertime or when
Okay.
they're having parties and stuff like that, But when I first got it, Jarrett was on the highway patrol and he lived there.
Okay.
And he was stationed in Hampton County.
That's been a while ago.
It's been a long time. He's a good boy. I think he's a real good officer too.
David, I already got that one filled out. All he got to do is sign.
Oh, the consent?
Sorry about that.
Got a gnat flying around, about to fly in my contacts. Here you go, Alex.
Sir?
Would you? This is the consent for the buckle. Sign right there for me.
Where?
Right here.
Date?
I already got the date on it. All right. Just throw them up on the dash.
Sorry.
Please.
God,
Did you drop something?
I just dropped that card.
I got another
I got it.
Okay.
This is, you keep your seat, keep your seat. This is a seal swab. No, I'm gonna go inside your cheek. There's 2 swabs.
Just do what you need to do.
All right, there's 2 swabs. We're gonna do one on the right cheek, one on the left cheek. When you finish with that envelope, just seal them back in there, and I'll get you to sign it for me, okay? And we'll go right inside your cheek. You got it.
Right. I just don't have gloves on my hands, so I don't want to.
This is your left
Do you
cheek.
have any gloves right there, please, sir?
All right.
All right, my left, your right. All right.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Are we done?
Yes.
I'm gonna seal that envelope and let you initial it, if that's okay.
Whatever you need.
Break these tips off because it don't fit. Evidence tape. Hold that right in front of you. It's fine. My bag. Head? No, sir. I got it. He filled out the envelope, so I'm just gonna seal this up.
You got it? Give me these grab some.
What's that?
Evidence.
No,
Oh,
I
you
got
it.
evidence tape. I'm getting a Sharpie. I'm gonna set this right by you, Mr. Ken, so I can see what I'm doing. Thank you, sir.
May I have another piece of your gum?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Today is the
10th.
6, 10, 20, 21.
Jim, where do you live?
I'm in Columbia,
Okay.
but I've
If you just initial right there beside me, we
last
seal
week
it
been
together.
on
Right here?
Varsity Island.
Yes.
Right there on that red line?
Anywhere you want to say, initial, anywhere on that
So I
tape.
don't have very hard to go back.
That's us.
Oh,
I rode by where they were playing that PGA golf tournament. That was a weird looking scene out there. I don't know if y'all rode by there.
That's so. No, I haven't.
It's like
I haven't
in
had
the middle of
time.
nowhere. And then
Yeah. 1503.
Get out there, one real quick before we get started.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you. Just a big old tea.
Big old T, you're gonna have to use the bathroom in about 5 minutes.
That's probably true.
See what notepad I'm gonna use. Just gonna do it. Let me just grab it.
You been doing all right?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. Ready to see some cool weather.
Not bad this weekend, but came back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
I went running yesterday. I thought I was going to die.
I hadn't done any running, but I probably need to.
All right. It was brutal at my house last week. The air conditioner went out.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Corey, you spell your name with 2 M's or 1?
1 M.
sir. Alec, I appreciate you coming in today.
Glad to do anything.
I understand. I know we got a lot to talk about. I know you have millions of questions. But before we get started with your questions, this has been going on for over 2 months, and we've done a lot of work.
I know you have.
And I've got some more questions that I need to get clarifications on.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll start with that.
Wait a minute. Whoa,
Yes, sir.
whoa, whoa. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought we were coming here so you can update him on what's going on.
And I intend to do that as
Okay,
we
let's
as
start.
we go.
Let's do that first.
Okay.
All right, let's
Well,
do that first.
The update is I'm doing the investigation, and I have some questions that I would like some answers to. And I mean, certainly if you know, I ask the question, if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it.
No,
I'm fine with that.
Okay. I mean, it's more clarifications of the 2 interviews you've already given me.
I totally understand.
Okay.
just wait 1 second.
Yeah.
Wait 1 second. All right. I need for you to tell me, are you going to give us information, or are we just here for you to ask questions?
I'm going to give you some information.
All right. Why can't you give us information first?
Some of the information that you're asking about are in my questions. And as we go through, you'll see.
Okay.
I don't mind it. I don't
I
mind
know you
him
don't. I know you don't. But I can't. I mean, I'm a friend, but I'm also a lawyer, and I like to know what we're doing. I like to understand what we're talking about. You know.
Well,
I need you to answer this question.
Okay.
Are you asking him questions to further your investigation, or are you asking him questions because you think that he's a suspect? I need a straight answer.
I am asking these questions to further my investigation.
All right. Does that mean that you're not asking him these questions as a suspect? Because
Go ahead. Say it.
because I'm not comfortable with you asking him questions as a suspect when I came here with the thought that you were going to be telling him where you are in the investigation, what it is you've done, seen, uncovered, whatever. That's why we came here.
Well, let me respond to your question. It may not be a direct answer that you're looking for, and I've told Alec this when we first met. Any homicide investigation, you start with the closest person and/or the person who found the deceased. Both cases, that's Alec. Everybody stays in that investigation until we can get them out. And right now, because of the questions that I have that I need explanations for, I cannot get Alec out.
Okay. All right. That's a reasonable statement. I don't have any problem with that statement. That's fine. I don't read it, but everybody in the United States of America has an opinion on this case. And because I know everybody, I know it's a bunch of bullshit. I can't imagine that y'all are going to be asking about nonsense in the internet.
No.
All right.
No.
All right. Well,
I mean, just like you, I'm aware of what's out there.
yeah.
I have not read every article. I don't care to read every article because they're not doing the investigation.
That's
I
right.
am.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, you know, Alec, if you're comfortable and you feel okay,
Yes.
then that's fine.
Do
But
anything to help.
all right. That's fine.
So I want to go back to Monday morning, and you went to the office.
Okay.
What time did you go to the office? Who was at your house when you left, and what time did you go to the office?
We had been to a ball game that weekend. I don't remember exactly what time. It would have been somewhere between 8:30 and 9:30 probably,
Okay.
10 o'clock maybe
Okay.
at the latest,
Okay.
something like that.
And when I ask about time, I'm not saying, it was
Understand.
5:11 or something like that.
Totally
I need
understand.
ballpark,
That's
as close as you can get to it.
And if you need to know exactly when, there would be a keypad that would tell when exactly I went in my office
Okay.
that I can get for you.
Okay.
So
So you have a key fob to get in your office?
a card.
A card?
Yes,
Card.
sir.
Okay. Got you. Thank
But
you.
a little bit. It was probably a little bit on the later side of that. I guess I know Maggie got up early to get out of there because she had an appointment in Charleston. I just don't remember if I left right after she did or I piddled around.
Okay. And I already know that Paul stayed at John Marvin's that night, so it was just you and Maggie in the house.
That's correct.
And I know when you were at the office, you were working on motions, and some of those motions you dealt with were for Paul's the boat accident or the boat case.
I'm not really doing the legal work.
I
on
understand,
that.
but
So,
you're Paul's dad. You're a lawyer. You're definitely going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So what were those motions? Did it deal with Parker's, or was it the actual boat accident, or?
it was the civil case.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time did you leave and get home?
Earlier than normal. I'd say 5:30.
That's when you left the office?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What time did Paul get home that night?
Me and Paul got there about the same time.
Okay.
Maybe he was a little bit later than me, or maybe a little bit earlier than me, but it was close to the same time.
Okay. And y'all rode around the farm. And I believe you said 2 different trucks or 2 different vehicles.
Yes, sir.
What were those 2 different vehicles?
We rode in the white pickup truck, and we rode in the black pickup truck.
In either one of those, did you see any long guns? Take your time.
It's okay.
Did you see any rifles or shotguns?
I don't remember seeing any that day. No, we did have pistols.
Yeah, because I know you said you went target practicing.
Well, not really target practice,
Or
just shooting.
Yeah.
We rode around for a couple hours, just looked at everything, all the stuff Paul did on the farm, and we just spent, time together.
Let me go get you some.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Don't be sorry. Hey, you can do this?
I can do it.
All right. All right.
We started out going to look at the sunflowers because he was worried about the sunflowers.
Mhm.
That was the first thing we looked at, and then we just rode. We just rode and looked at. We hadn't done it in a while, but we just rode, talked, and rode, talked,
What'd y'all talk about?
everything, just. One of the main things, he'd been having trouble, his feet had swelled up, and we were worried about blood pressure and stress on him, and he handled all this stuff so amazingly, but we were just so worried about it. But we talked about that, we talked about the farm, we just talked about everything.
Had Paul been seeing a doctor for this feet?
No, sir.
Were y'all trying to get him to go?
Trying to get him to go.
And he was resistant?
Yeah, he had been resistant, but much less so after his feet swelled up. I mean, he'd been having all kind of little problems, but much less after his feet swelled up.
As parents, I'm sure you and Maggie stayed on him about going. How did he respond to you?
To going out?
No, going to the doctor.
He didn't.
When y'all talked about it.
He's very resistant. Very, very resistant. I mean, we talked to him about seeing a doctor, about the stresses of everything with the boat wreck. He didn't think he needed to do that. I mean, we tried to watch him really closely. But he was resistant.
What time did Maggie get back home that night?
Later. I'd say probably, the best I can tell, a couple hours after we got there.
When you and Paul returned back to the house, was Maggie there?
I can't remember if Maggie came by the shed when Paul and I were up there, or if we met her at the house. But, you know, it's not unusual for her, if we're messing around, for her to swing through up there.
Mm-hmm.
But Maggie wasn't supposed to be coming home. I've since found out she was worried about me, and me worried about my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so she came home.
Where was she going to stay that night?
At Edisto. We were having work done down there. And I wasn't 100%, but it's pretty well she was going to stay at Edisto.
So it kind of surprised you that she came back?
That didn't totally surprise me. She'd let me know earlier that she was coming home. But then I found out later why she came home.
She was concerned for you?
Sir.
What time did y'all sit down and eat dinner?
Not too long after that. Blanc had made dinner. And so the three of us ate dinner together.
What was the conversation around the dinner table?
Normal. Regular stuff. I mean, I can't tell you exactly, but...
How was Maggie's appointment in Charleston that day?
I think it had gone good. We didn't really get the chance to talk about it in detail.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been having a couple little medical issues. I can't even remember which one. It wasn't anything huge. I can't remember exactly which one she went for.
And after dinner, Maggie and Paul went to the kennels, or?
You know, I don't know exactly how that went. I stayed on the couch and I dozed off.
Okay.
So, and then I got up.
Did you watch TV that night?
I know the TV was, I believe the TV was on. But I wasn't watching it, you know, I mean.
There is a video on Paul's phone of you and him on the farm that night. And you were in khaki pants and a dress shirt. You were playing with a tree.
I don't remember playing with a tree.
Yeah. I guess there was a tree sapling or something that had fallen over or bending over, and you were trying to get it to stand up. But I mean, the question in that is, when I met you that night, you were in shorts and a t-shirt. At what point in that evening did you change clothes?
I'm not sure. You know, it would have been,
Before dinner or after dinner?
no, it would have been, what time of day was that? I would have thought I had already changed.
There's not a timestamp on it because there's so many posts, but I want to say it looks to be about dusk. So that would have been 7:30, 8 o'clock.
I guess I changed when I got back to the house.
Earlier when we spoke, and you talked about waking up from your nap and going to check on your mother, and you tried to call Maggie and you tried to call Paul, and then you sent Maggie a text that you were going to check on your mother. You also told me that Maggie didn't normally go with you to check on your mother, but that she might ride that night. Did you go by and check on her?
Go by and check on my mom?
Maggie, before you left to go?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? With her not responding to you, and thinking that she might ride with you, why didn't you?
I don't remember having plans that Maggie was going to ride with me. But maybe she had told me that she was that night. I don't recall that. I don't remember that specifically, but I mean, it wasn't, she didn't normally go with me. I mean, it's not like we had plans that she was going to ride with me or that she was going.
Did you grab those maps? Here they are. Okay. So, these are just some maps that I pulled off of Google.
Okay.
What route did you take from Moselle to your mom's?
I would have gone to the right on Moselle Road, 63, into Varnville, turn left on the road right before 278, 601, and then in front of the school, turn right. That's how I believe I went.
What you looking? You said right on Moselle to 63.
No, sir. Right on Moselle.
Yeah.
The normal way is right on Moselle to Dobson Road.
Okay.
Dobson Road to 63. 63 into Varnville. Left on whatever the road is that goes to the school. Right. And then either 63 or left on the road that goes down and then on 63.
How often did you go visit your mother that late at night?
I mean, it wasn't infrequent. It wasn't all the time. I mean, visited her, you know, all times a day.
Yeah. Just checking on her, especially with your dad being sorry.
She had been having a particularly, you know, she's got Alzheimer's really bad, or pretty bad, and she had been particularly agitated with him not being there, and I checked on her more in the days and weeks following my dad's passing than, you know, otherwise, but several times a week, you know, any time.
How long would you say you were at your mom's that night?
45 minutes, an hour.
And you left and went back home? Did you make any stops on the way?
On the way there,
On the way to your mom's or on your return trip back home?
stops. No, I didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
I went straight there. I did not notice her.
Okay. When earlier in the day, when you were down at the shed in the kennels with Paul, did y'all discuss any injuries to any dogs?
Did he and I? No, but Rogan Gibson told me about the dog's tail,
Okay.
and somebody saying his leg was broken.
Which one's his dog?
It's a chocolate puppy, I think.
Okay. Was the leg broken?
Not that I know of.
I can certainly see why something might be wrong with his tail, because when I was out there, he was chasing his tail and whipping through the fence and trying to grab it.
Yes, sir.
So it was all that puppy energy. When you got back to Moselle, which driveway did you enter?
I went into brick gates.
Brick gates.
Yes, sir.
And Maggie and Paul weren't there. Were there vehicles at the house?
Yes, sir.
How did they get down there that night?
I was hoping you were going to be able to tell me that.
The only thing that I can come up with is that black truck. Is that Buster's old black truck?
Yes, sir.
Does it normally stay down at the farm, or does it stay at the house?
Both.
Both. Did Maggie ever walk down there?
Maggie walked down there a lot, but Paul, I mean, if you showed me some proof that Paul walked down there that night, I would be surprised. Absolutely surprised.
Well, thinking about Paul's health concerns, do you think Maggie could have gotten him to walk that night? Say, come on, let's walk with me this one time?
You know, it's possible, but again, that would be highly, highly unusual. He would have talked her into riding. Been highly unusual for him to walk.
So when you were at the kennels, you were just down there with Paul, and you left and went back to the house for dinner.
You know, I mean, Paul and I were just knocking around up at the shop, the shed, the kennels, and just the whole property. And that was before dinner, yes, sir.
Okay. And you didn't go back down there after dinner until your return trip from visiting your mother?
Yes, sir.
I've got information that Paul was on the phone and Maggie was heard in the background and you were heard in the background, and that was prior to 9 p.m.
I heard Rogan Gibson ask me if I was up there. He said he thought it was me.
Was it you?
At 9 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. Not if my times are right.
Who do you think it could have been?
I have no idea.
And Rogan's been around your family for pretty much all his life.
Oh, absolutely.
And he recognizes your voice, and you have a distinct voice. Do you think of anybody else that has a voice similar to yours that he may have misinterpreted?
No, sir. I mean, he asked me that, so, and I mean, he had told me that he thought I was up there.
Did that surprise you?
Yes, sir.
So when you return back to the kennels, when you return home from your mom's, where were the dogs?
They were like they were when I didn't put dogs up.
Okay.
So
they weren't running loose.
however they were is
Okay. Because at one point in the 911 call, you say here, like you're talking to somebody else or something else.
I say here.
Here, yes, sir. So the dispatcher is asking you if they're breathing, and you said no. And she asked did you see anyone else in the area, and you said no. And she asked about guns near them, and you said no. And then you kind of stutter and start moving around, and you said here.
I don't have any memory of saying that. I guess I'd have to listen to it to, but I don't recall a dog being out. I'm certain that there was not a dog out. I mean, there's other things people have told me about that 911 call that I don't remember. I don't know here. Like I was calling a dog.
Calling a dog, talking to somebody else. I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, sir. And I mean, there obviously was nobody else out there.
Okay.
And I'm certain that there was not a dog loose. But I don't remember saying anything about Buster would know. Something about threats.
Mm-hmm.
I was asked about that later, if I had information about, or that Buster had information about threats that I had said he would know.
Have you learned anything new about any threats against Paul or your family?
Nothing really new, no, sir. Outside of things that Randy's told you, or there were just so many things on the internet that just but nothing new, no, sir.
So during the 911 call, and we also talked about that night, you returned back to the house to get a shotgun.
Yes, sir.
What door did you enter?
The best that I can remember, I went in the side door, and I went straight to the gun cabinet.
Were you focused on any particular shotgun, or you just grabbed one?
I just grabbed one.
How do you normally load your shotguns? Avid hunters load shotguns special ways, different types of munitions, and I'm just asking you how you load yours.
I mean, I normally put it in the chamber and push the button.
What types? What type of shot do you load?
All kinds. I mean, I've loaded bird shot, buckshot, slugs, skeet shot.
At the same time? I mean, would you load like a bird shot and a buckshot in the same load?
Not normally. I mean, normally you're putting in, a load for whatever you're hunting.
Mm-hmm. The reason I'm asking about that, the shot shells that we recovered that night, one was a turkey load, one was a buckshot.
I understood that.
The shotgun that you had with you that night, there was a bird shot and a buckshot. When Jeff went back the next day, I'm not sure which attorney it was, pointed out that there had been a shotgun laying on the pool table that he had put away, and pointed out the ammunition that was with that, and it was a buckshot and a bird shot. And then the shotgun that we took for potential comparison, it was also loaded with a bird shot and a buckshot. So I have all of these consistent loads along with what's at in the feed room. I call it the feed room at the kennels. Is that what you call it?
That's
Okay.
fucking good enough.
Okay. If I say feed room, I just want you to know what I'm talking about.
The night I grabbed the shells that I could get my hands on, I don't, I had no idea exactly what I had.
Okay. Also, when we talked, I asked you if it was normal to keep guns down at the kennels, and you said you would have to check. Have you been able to check to see what was missing from your collection?
I have. Yes, I know what's missing from what I believe is missing from our guns.
Okay. And what are those?
There's 3 guns that I think are missing.
Okay. And what kind of guns are those?
It would be a Benelli shotgun, a Browning shotgun, and a pump shotgun.
The Benelli and the Browning, are they pump or autos?
The Benelli and the Browning are automatic.
And the pump shotgun, what brand is that?
I believe it's a Remington, but I'm not positive.
Are they like standard brown and black, all black, or camo?
The Benelli is black. The Browning is camo, and the pump is camo.
Would you have those serial numbers recorded anywhere?
I don't have them recorded, but I'm sure. I don't know where the pump shotgun exactly came from, but I should be able to have the Benelli and the Browning.
Okay. Because we don't know if they're stolen or where they are. So I really can't get them entered into NCIC. But
Go ahead.
But I could alert the ATF to where if that gun is run, that there would be an alert on it, and it would get me at least back to the gun and the person that may have had it.
Absolutely.
So if we could work on that and get those as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
You said the Benelli's black, Browning's camo, and the pump is camo?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The The Browning is a brown camo, and the pump is a green camo. And you know, I understand also that a 300 was used that night, and I know there's been some I understand John Bedingfield said he only had 2 of those, one of which was lost 3 a long time ago, but I'm telling you now, I am certain that we replaced that gun. All right.
Actually, John knows that he sold Maggie a 3rd gun.
Okay. Okay.
And the story was that she was supposed to let you know that she paid for it for you to go sign the paperwork, and that never occurred.
Okay. So that's why there wasn't a number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, he has the number. He just doesn't have a final sale on the ATF paperwork.
Okay. That was
Because
replacing
it
the
wasn't-
one that Paul.
Paul lost, yes.
That's correct.
And both of those 300s, those serial numbers are with the ATF and flagged in the system. So when they pop up, it'll get me to those.
Okay.
And that's, you know, we've talked about the shot shells. So the cartridge casings were 300 blackout cartridge casings that were found by Maggie. There were also cartridge casings found by your house, by the side door to the gun room, and at the shooting range.
Okay.
And the ones by the house and some of the ones found at the shoot range are confirmed matches to the ones found by Maggie.
Okay.
So, which gets another concern. I've got the same load as the shot shells in multiple guns and 300 blackout that match ones found on your property.
So you now believe that those guns, that Paul's guns were used?
Yes,
Okay.
and missing.
And I understand that somebody had seen that gun recently, but, you know, and I'd asked Buster about it. I believe that gun has been gone since back before Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Nolan
Dude.
Nolan recalls Paul's first 300 going missing around Halloween at a party at Hampton.
Halloween of 2020.
When did y'all?
No, because that was
no. It was
years.
Yeah, it was whatever Christmas you got it. So 17. Christmas of 17. So it was the Halloween after, and 18 is when Nolan believes it was taken out of Paul's truck. There was and it would take me a while to find those notes, but Mark Williams or Matt Williams is a family friend, and I may have the name wrong, but there was hundreds of people at this Halloween party. Nolan says adults were there, kids were there, and Nolan knows that the gun was in Paul's truck when they got to the party, and when they went to leave the party, it was gone. So that's the timeline on when that gun goes missing.
Okay. I mean, I knew it had been a while.
Mm-hmm. And then I think in April of 19 is when
18.
April of 18.
Christmas of 16, January
Okay,
17
okay.
is when they did the
Gotcha.
paperwork.
Gotcha. Another part in the 911 call, you made the comment, "I should have known." And the questioning that surrounded, dispatcher's asking, "Is anybody else supposed to be at the house?" And you said, "No, ma'am, please hurry." And she says, "We're getting somebody out there to you." And your next comment was, "I should have known." What are you referencing in that statement?
I don't remember saying that, but I guess, you know, all the threats and, you know, I mean, I had been convinced that this was something to do with the boat wreck and, you know, all of that.
Did Paul ever get physical with you? Ever get into a heated argument and get physical?
One time, I mean, a little bit where he wouldn't listen to me.
Did you ever get physical with him?
No, sir.
How about Maggie? Did Paul get physical with Maggie?
Never.
I'm sure she probably wanted to at times. Being a
I'm
parent.
sure she wanted to with all of us.
Yeah.
And the one time Paul did that, he had had too much to drink.
Mm-hmm.
In a very isolated incident.
Where was that? Was that at Moselle or Edisto?
That was at Moselle.
So that was pretty recent.
No, sir. It had been a while.
When you turned Paul over and his cell phone popped out and you picked it up and your statement was something like, I thought about doing something, but then I put it back down. And that was the interview, our first interview. What were your intentions with the phone?
I don't know. I mean, when I went up to him and the phone came out, I don't remember having intentions of doing anything with the phone.
You got anything right quick?
Going back to when y'all ate dinner together after Miss Maggie got home and you and Paul got back from riding around.
Yes, sir.
Can you estimate about how long y'all would have been at the dinner table or ate at the dinner table?
I mean, it wasn't any long drawn out dinner. You know, you just,
I mean, just a guess. Is it, I mean, you said there was conversation at the dinner table, but
15, 20 minutes. However long it takes to. Best guess.
okay. David asked you just earlier about when y'all were riding around the farm, and you said y'all had the pistol in the truck. Y'all had shot a few times, really not target practicing, but shot a few times. You said that you had on that day you didn't see any long guns, rifles, or shotguns in the vehicle. Prior to that, how long prior to that do you recall seeing guns or any guns in that vehicle?
I mean, Paul always had guns.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was very unusual for Paul not to have guns.
And when you say gun, did rifles or shotguns or
Everything.
both? Okay.
Yes, sir.
His truck that he normally drove, I believe it was the Platinum, went into the shop that Friday prior to. I think Mark Ball went and got some video from Jimmy Butler's that shows Paul dropping the truck off and not removing anything from it. So basically, he would have taken the rifles out at home. Do you know what he did with those rifles? If he would have put them in a different truck, or if he put them in the house, or would he have? So the truck that he drove, where was it parked on that Friday? So where would he have swapped everything out?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the truck that he drove on Friday. What truck did he swap out from?
I think when he went to Charleston, Dale said that he helped hook up the boat to one of the white Fords. And I know one's a gas and one's a diesel.
And it wouldn't have been the gas truck going to Charleston. I'm not sure. So this occurred the Friday before everything happened.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure. On Friday, I had gone to stay in the hospital with my dad. I don't believe that I saw Paul. On Friday.
When did y'all go up to Columbia?
On Saturday.
Why didn't Paul go with y'all?
You know, I mean, Paul, he didn't. He liked to go to sports when there was a crowd, but that wasn't his thing to go, you know.
Is that always how it's always been, or because of the boat incident?
No. I mean, he wasn't into ball as much.
One thing that I'm trying to understand is your timeline. You said you probably went to the office 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and you left early around 5 or 5:30. And there's been some other timelines or times that we've talked about and you can't quite remember what the times are, what time of day it was. When the dispatcher asked you when was the last time you saw Maggie or talked to Maggie, you said an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. To me, that's, a set, without thinking about it, you rattled off that time. We're sitting here trying to figure out a timeline and you're having trouble coming up with a specific time.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Tell me again what I said to the dispatcher.
You said an hour and a half ago, probably 2 hours.
And what time was that?
That was when you were on the phone. The 911 call was made at 10:06. So given 2 hours back, that would have been 8.
I think that's probably about. I think that's probably about right. So, what do you believe I'm giving you an inconsistent answer?
No, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it. When I'm asking you what time you went to the office that day, what time you got home, you saying 5 or 5:30. I've gotten the card readout from the law firm, and it shows you going in at 5:30.
Going in the door?
Yes, sir. And And Randy says when he left about 6 o'clock, you were still there. So the times aren't matching up. And I'm just trying to get I'm just trying to get an understanding of why.
I believe I left so that because that's not the first time I was at my office that day.
There were several readings, but your card wouldn't work. Somebody actually had to let you in.
Okay.
But I've got your card opening a door at the law firm at 5:30. And then Randy saying when he left at 6, you were still there. I'm trying to understand.
You know, I left the office earlier than I normally do.
What's your normal time to leave?
I mean, it's not unusual for me to be there till dark. You know, I try to get home when Maggie's home, you know, before dark.
But you don't like staying out there by yourself in the dark.
That's right. So, you know, if it was 5:30 or 6, you know, I don't think I was still there at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
But, you know, if I was, it wasn't long after that.
Okay.
So, you know, I believe that I went straight home. So, you know, my car, have y'all been able to get Chevrolet to download my?
We're still working on that.
Okay.
That's a long process.
Well, I mean, I got home early enough for Paul and I to ride the property for a substantial length of time. You know, more than an hour. I thought probably a couple of hours
Okay.
that we were together, but somewhere.
Did you go down to the river?
We rode down all the roads. I believe that we rode all over.
Okay.
We rode all over.
Excuse me. Have I been able to answer some of your questions? I know you probably have more. But with my questionings, trying to get some things cleared up, have I given you some answers?
Well, I mean, I do know more than I did, for sure. So, yes, I mean, some of those questions have certainly, yes, sir, been answered.
What other questions do you have that?
I would like to know exactly what happened.
Me too. The best that I've been able to put together.
Tell me, looks like. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I believe Paul was shot first. For the simple fact of where he was located.
How many times was he shot?
Twice.
I thought he shot Maggie first because I could tell when he shot her in the back of the head.
We may honestly never know who was first, but I think it was Paul, for the simple fact he wouldn't have, if he saw his mother getting shot, he wouldn't have run to that feed room. Unless that's where one of the guns was. But, you know, we've already established family guns were used. And if they came from Paul's truck, Paul's truck was at the house. So where were they?
And how did he get down
And
there?
how did they get down there? I mean, it's normal for y'all to leave your keys in the cars. However, if somebody showed up and did this, you're not going to take Paul's truck back to the house and leave the key in it.
I mean, do you know that the guns were in the truck? I mean, could they have been somewhere else?
They could have been somewhere else. I mean, he didn't have his normal truck.
And I understand that Nolan Tootin believes he saw the gun 3 weeks beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't talked to him, but is he believes it was the one that, not the one that was at the house?
I think it was a Benelli was his shotgun that he always kept, that Paul always kept with him.
Paul primarily kept, he kept there were one of a couple of Benellis.
And it was a camo Benelli. Is the last one that Nolan saw.
Okay.
And HDD, some type of 7mm rifle.
Yes, sir.
Do you have that one at home?
Yes, sir. That's what he saw?
That's what he saw.
'Cause I was told by somebody that Nolan saw a 300.
He told me he had not seen a 300 since March after turkey season.
Okay, well, then somebody.
Well, those were the go-to guns, and those were the last ones that he saw.
The
He said he had-
HDD and the.
And Benelli. He had not seen the 300 since March during turkey season.
And he definitely saw it during turkey season,
Yes, sir.
because there was some point, back when it was missing at Christmas time.
The third one's missing at Christmas time.
Yes, sir. So, anyway, if he saw it in March,
Did y'all get any kind of forensic off of anything that y'all found? That just the rain and the.
I mean, we got plenty of DNA from the scene, but
Yeah.
it's Nolan's, it's Rogan's, it's Alex, it's Paul's, it's Maggie's, it's Buster's.
Everybody's been out there.
David, can you tell me for sure? Did either one of them live after they were shot the first time?
Not long.
What does that mean?
The shooting happened very quickly. Very quick.
Is this one person, two persons, three persons?
I'll step out just 1 second.
I've got two guns. I've got two different types of ammunition. It's hard to say. It is hard to say.
And I mean, neither one of them suffered very long.
Matter of seconds, if that.
Thank you.
Have y'all been able to get anything in Paul's phone that might lead to anybody? Would it be? Let me ask you this question. It comes from Randy.
Mhm.
feel like I didn't even talk to you about this,
It's okay.
but you know, they get a lot of friends in the community. You know, from the upper echelon to the lowest socioeconomic level. They think that they can ask people to keep ears out, you know, loose lips, talking, that kind of stuff, but they don't want to reach out to anybody. Not purpose, unless y'all think it's okay. I'm not talking about paying people to do stuff or investigators.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to Randy about this as well. He posed that question to me.
Right.
I'm not going to ask anybody in the law firm or anybody in the family, hey, go out and see what you can find and report back to me.
Sure.
Because then it can be construed as they're working as an agent of the state.
Sure.
And
I understand that completely. You don't even have to explain that. I understand it.
So, I mean, I told Randy, I said, I certainly can't stop you from going out. But I wouldn't ask them what they know and then report back to me. Tell them to call me. Tell them to call the tip line we have still set up. Or if you hear somebody talking about it, encourage them to call. Or give me the name and I'll go call.
Okay. I hear what you're saying.
So David, we don't have not anything substantive that really makes you think, hey, this is a good.
No, sir. We don't, like I said, the only DNA we have are family and close friends. We don't have any fingerprints. We don't have, unfortunately, we don't have any shoe wear or tire wear impressions because it rained that night.
Right.
The only thing that we can go off of are the cell tower dumps, or I know the FBI was out and they were out on your property on Friday riding around trying to get some cell phone data. Unfortunately, all of that takes time.
And y'all had to send because this vehicle's new, you had to send that off?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like when we hire experts and they come in and just download it.
It's 2021 and they don't have the systems for it yet.
Gotcha.
But they're creating a system
Really?
from what I understand.
Okay. Now, I don't know exactly how the OnStar thing works. I know how the control module does, but this is something different, right? Or is it all contained in the same thing?
There are two different systems that we took out.
Yeah.
One is OnStar and the other one is the telemetry system or infotainment center.
Yeah.
And the FBI says there is information there.
Yeah.
They just have to be able to extract it and put it in a report.
Sure. So you're just waiting for that?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the search warrant from OnStar.
Okay.
To see what kind of information they can give me.
Good.
Well,
There's
you need if us signing something expedites that. I told you we'll get.
I know.
I don't
Appreciate
own the
that.
car, but whoever
Yeah.
we need to will sign whatever authorization you need.
Okay.
So you had said that, or maybe Jim told me or something about y'all were able to get in Paul's phone just with a search warrant.
We have a what they call a partial download.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the passcode,
Sure.
we can't do a full extraction.
Do you think so? You know, my thought was that I don't know who's required to authorize Apple to open it.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was that big thing where they weren't going to do it
Yes, sir.
for whatever case. But I thought that if we, I think Maggie owned the phone. I think it was in her name. The account was in her name.
Well, you have to have your own separate iCloud account for each phone, and we've done that for Maggie's, Paul's, and Alex
Okay.
iCloud accounts.
Yeah.
To see if there's anything in there.
Yeah.
There was nothing in Paul's. I'm still waiting on Maggie's.
Maggie did back hers up
Mhm.
and stuff. I know that. So
Does that mean Paul didn't back his up?
Probably.
But what my thought was, and I don't know if this is even possible, but if we get the estate and we get the personal representative who is now the authorized person to authorize it to be opened. I mean, surrounded by 100 lawyers, we can get a probate done like that, and I can have the powers of appointment done in 2 days, and we can authorize whatever it is you need to open.
And that might be beneficial.
So
I think Randy and I, or somebody and I, had talked about that
yeah,
before.
yeah. Well, and I said I'd do it. Any of us can do it.
Yeah. Who would be the representative? Just somebody at the law firm.
Probably one of your brothers, I would think.
for Maggie and Paul's estate,
Yeah.
probably me, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
or
I'll
my
do
brothers.
it.
But whoever it is, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Whoever it
Yeah,
is will do whatever
yeah.
y'all need to do to.
Mhm.
It won't be anybody that'll be uncooperative.
Okay. Well, I mean, if y'all would go ahead and start working on that,
All right.
and we'll reach out to Apple and figure out how we get that accomplished.
All right. Because gotta be something in there.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be something in there. I can't think of anything else. I mean, have y'all had to track down all the wackos on the internet? Or just only the ones that you think seem a little more, not the opportunity and the
Yeah.
inclination, you know?
There's been a few. There's been a few that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But some of the information is just so far fetched.
Mhm.
I talked with one guy. He called in and says, "Well, I knew that Maggie's son bought a house right around the corner." I'm like, "Okay, well, no, they didn't."
Yeah.
That Maggie had left her husband some time ago and was going to move to Florida to be closer to her father because mother was dead.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Okay, thank you, bye."
Mhm. So it's a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, people that want to get involved,
Yeah.
people that think they have some information,
Mhm.
and especially the matter of death,
Mhm.
they're all over the place.
Well, I mean, yeah, y'all been taking a licking in the press about not disclosing stuff, but Jesus Christ, man.
I don't have anything to disclose.
Well, and why are you gonna tell the bad guy what you got?
Thank you.
You know, I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, look.
Nobody wants to know more than this man right here
I know.
and this man right here.
I know.
Everybody else.
I believe that.
Everybody else is my ass.
David, how far apart in time were the the shots? Did one of them know the other one was dead or had been shot?
I think it's impossible to answer that question. I think it is impossible.
But you certain Paul was shot first?
I believe he was. I'm not certain. I believe he was.
Maggie would have known that then, wouldn't she? You don't
Well,
know how soon afterwards she was shot?
And it all depends on how many shooters were there. I mean, if we're looking at two shooters, it could have happened at the same time. If we're looking at one shooter, it would have happened. And I know you can't help but think about it, but don't beat yourself up over getting that answer. It's not going to do anything to you.
When I asked you, now that you've talked to me, are you willing to, if some of my family, Maggie's mom and dad or sister, are you willing to talk to them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'll meet them where they want to.
It would
I
be
mean, I
easier if
know
you could meet them
At the
closer
house.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I live in Charleston, so it's
Yeah.
nothing for me to shoot up to Somerville and meet with the Brandstetters.
Thank you. I know y'all are doing everything you can. And I don't take any personal offense at asking me these questions. I know you got to do what you got to do.
Well, I mean, and I hate to give any credence to the media, but with the media
I understand.
keep throwing you in there, then
You gotta ask the questions.
if I can get every bit of evidence possible
Mhm.
that's going to exonerate.
When you get my car stuff, that'll help.
Al, you said earlier Maggie didn't like staying out there by herself.
Yes, sir.
Was there any kind of, I know we asked you once before in one of the earlier interviews about cameras, and have y'all talked about doing any kind of camera system out there? You know, stuff getting missing. You know, Maggie talking about stuff getting missing. We're hearing that type stuff. So
We never really had problems with stuff missing, but we still talked about getting, cameras and, doing all of that, but we just hadn't done it. We talked about it for a while.
but not really any conversation about stuff up and walking away or getting missing between you and Maggie.
Any conversations between me and Maggie about stuff
You and
missing?
Maggie or you and Paul, either one, about stuff that had been missing, or had somebody came up and taken from the barn or from the house or anything like that?
Only thing that I can remember being discussed missing was some drills and some Milwaukee tools.
How long ago was that?
Couple of it was since CB got hired, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Because that was one of the things Paul, when he was looking for him, was going to ask CB. And I'd had a boy working out there for just a short period named Matt Luce. Is that the first time you've heard his name?
The last name, yeah. I've heard that there was Matt.
Matt
Luce.
Luce. I think it's spelled Luce.
And he basically did what CB does now.
No,
Or something.
he came in and was, just trying to, because I didn't have anybody working out there, just to kind of keep things from getting totally out of control.
Mhm.
He came in and, he does that for another friend, works with another friend, and he's just kind of coming in to help me, probably I believe he probably would have been there in the late fall, probably, I'm guessing.
Is he from Hampton or Walterboro?
He's from Beaufort, I believe, originally, but he lives up in he lives between Beaufort and I'm trying to think of the name of the plantation that my friend Barrett Bowler has. That's who he works for.
Barrett Bowler.
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah, spell
It's Boulware is how it
Boulware.
looks.
it. B-O-U-L-W-A-R-E.
Ken the attorney Bowler out of Baltimore?
Yeah, no,
They are,
Tom
yeah.
Bowler. Yes, sir. He was like one of my granddaddy's contemporaries. And now there's a Tom Bowler that's kind of just retired. And they are, I think that's they're kin, but not super close.
How old is Matt? Ish.
I'd say he's 35, something like that. Maybe.
Do you still have his number?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have his number in my phone.
Just give me just a minute. You got
I
the number?
don't have it, but I can get it. I just texted the guy to send it to me. Who'll have it?
Okay.
Can you think of anything else you want to ask questions about?
All right. Off the top of my head.
The pair of guns that you bought for the Christmas presents, they were matching set, correct? Other than color. Am I right about that?
Yes, sir. They were exactly the same.
With thermal night vision and stuff like that. The one that you purchased to replace the lost one, did it have any kind of optics on it? Night vision, scope, anything like that?
It didn't have a night vision scope. And I don't know if Paul had put something on it. He would move scopes around from gun to gun to gun, but I'm not a specific scope on it.
And I don't know are we asking, when was the last time that gun had been seen? Do you know of?
I know that we looked for it around the Christmas holidays, or we went to get it around the Christmas holidays. I asked about it around the Christmas holidays.
Of 20, this past Christmas
Yes, sir.
holidays? Okay. And that was the replacement, what I guess we call it. Or,
That's correct.
okay.
Still trying to figure this out. I cannot exclude the boat incident and those involved. I know that y'all are currently going through the civil portion. How far had that progressed? I mean, were y'all in the talks? Was it breaking down?
Can I say something real quick? I know nothing about the any of that stuff, and he's represented by lawyers in that case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I personally believe he shouldn't be talking about that unless the lawyers he's represented by participate. I don't think it's. I mean, I'm sure that they're happy to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that that a person should be talking about a pending action like that without their lawyers knowing about it and what. Because I know nothing about it. I'm
Yes, sir.
completely separated from it.
I don't mind. You know, I have insurance companies hired lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
and then some of my partners are helping with that also. But it's made some progress. It's still unresolved, but it's not in its initial stages
Mhm.
by any means.
Okay. And what I'm getting at with this, it's in progress. I just want to make sure that it's not make sure. Bad word there. Did one party say this and y'all countered or something like that where the other people are pissed off, and now we have somebody out there with more motive because now they're thinking, Paul's going to get away with this. And
I mean, I'm not aware of any of those discussions. The only thing that I am aware of is that I've learned that one of the daddies of one of the kids in the boat wreck went to lengths to, or maybe it was his son, I don't know, but I was told that there are people out there that were being told you can't be friends with Paul and the Murdaughs and with us. You got to choose.
And that was a dad going out telling,
I don't know.
or
I don't know.
it was that dad or that kid going out saying this stuff.
I don't know that. I was told by a person who had been told that. It's Nate Tootin is the boy's name.
Okay.
So
Is that
you can find out
is
from
that
him.
any kin to Nolan?
It's Nolan's younger brother.
Okay.
It's Nolan's younger brother. So I'm gonna answer this
Yes,
if
sir.
y'all don't mind. Buster and I have a deal. Buster?
You probably don't get much service in here.
Buster. Buster.
If you go outside, hit that green button on the right.
If you don't have any more questions,
This is the Snapchat video that I'm talking about from Paul's phone. Okay. So if it just kind of brings back here.
Okay, I tell you what. Yeah, we were laughing about that because he's laughing because I had gone to great lengths to try to. That tree had gotten knocked over, and I'd gone to great lengths to try to get it to, be upright.
Okay.
And
Was that night? Because the friends that we talked to said it was posted that night.
I'm not sure.
Somebody's phone on?
Sorry?
Somebody's phone on? No, it's somebody's phone. I hear like somebody talking in the background. Okay. Like it was a call that had dropped or something.
I need one. Throat is dry.
Yeah.
You need something?
Anybody from the boat or their family that you've heard or know of any issues with them recently or prior to this incident?
Like any confrontations?
Or them saying anything in the community about the lawsuit or the pending charges, anything that would kind of lead me.
I mean, David, I told you about the, Kenya tree horn. A month or so, maybe 6 weeks before this happened, called me, just all out of sorts, and told me, I told you about that,
Yes, sir.
right?
We've interviewed her, yes, sir.
So, I mean, she said she'd heard it from 2 different places that family from the boat wreck was, it was over the top that I really didn't, pay it a bunch of attention. And I asked her about it. She said she didn't know who the people were, but she said that it was with a friend. It was at a friend's party. She knew who the friend was and would take y'all to the friend. So, has she talked to you about that?
She's given us very little.
Do you feel like she's being evasive? Because let me tell you what I've tried not to do. I know y'all have to look at me. I've tried to have as little discussions with the people that y'all are interviewing, with all this talk about how I fixed this and fixed that with the boat wreck, which is totally untrue. I've tried to not have a lot of conversation with people that, I know y'all need to talk to.
Well, The problem that I encounter, and I think everybody in law enforcement encounters in any investigation, people on the street talk and they run their mouth and they'll talk to friends and they'll talk to families and they'll talk to victims, but when the police show up, they keep their mouth shut.
So she's not talking to you.
She has given us some information.
Okay.
Some information.
So is there a problem with me going to her and, you know?
I'm not going to answer that.
So you're not telling me not to do it?
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
Either way.
I'll get somebody to talk to her. All right, to try to get her to cooperate with you.
Darn, allergies. Excuse me. All right. Do you have any more questions that I might be able to answer? And if you can't think of any now, reach out, call me.
Oh, well, no, I mean, you've answered a lot of things I had questions about, and I appreciate it.
And I'll call the Branstetters and see if they want to meet. Maybe get Marion up there at the same time so I can just meet with them all together. Does Marion? I know they live out in Wamala. Does Marion work?
No, she doesn't work. And they're kind of between Wadmalaw and, I mean, they're residents of the state of Florida, but
Okay.
they're here as much as but they're in Greenville a lot right now.
Yeah, because grandbaby.
The baby, that's right.
Thank you, Ben.
I just
Thank
a few more questions.
Okay.
Did you kill Maggie?
No. Did I kill my wife?
Yes, sir.
No, David.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not know who did.
Did you kill Paul?
No, I did not kill Paul.
Do you know who did?
No, sir, I do not know who did. Do you think I killed Maggie?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts
I
take me.
understand that. And you think I killed Paul?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts take me, and I don't have anything that points to anybody else at this time.
So does that
Yes.
mean that I am a suspect?
You were still in, like I told Corey earlier, you were still in this. With everything that we've talked about, with the family guns, the ammunition, nobody else's DNA. I have to put my beliefs aside and go with the facts.
Well, I understand. I mean,
Another tool that we use, polygraph. Would you be willing to take a polygraph?
We're not going to answer that question. We're not answering that question.
Understood.
If you want to discuss it, we can have that discussion, but we're not going to answer that question.
Okay.
All right.
Well, what do you want to discuss about taking the polygraph?
I will discuss it later.
Okay,
will not-
with Alec. Okay, I thought you were talking about discussing
We
it with
will
me.
not discuss that today.
Okay.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough. Any more questions, sir?
no, sir.
I'll be in touch.
Walk
If
outside.
you,
Walk outside. Let me finish talking to you.
if you have a question, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me.
Okay.
I'll meet you at the car, okay?
Thank
Thank you.
Did you want to take your mask in case you need it later?
Yeah. Thank you.
There wasn't any recordings going on here. Y'all didn't tell us we were being recorded. I noticed that thing. Were you recording this?
Yes, sir.
And why didn't you tell us?
I don't really have to.
You surreptitiously record somebody? You don't tell them?
Well, you're coming into a criminal investigation interview and there's cameras on the wall.
No, let me be very clear about this.
Mhm.
This was not an interview. This was him trying to get answers from you. And you completely used it as an interview. You didn't tell us that's what it was. You didn't tell us. I don't care that it was videotaped.
Okay.
I care that you didn't tell us.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
And
Well, and to be fair, in my communications with Alec, he said he had questions, and I said, well, I do too. When you get back from my last conversation with him, was when you get back from the Keys, call me, and we'll schedule a time so we can have that discussion. This is the first time I've talked to you. This is the first time I've met you.
I understand that. I was coming as a friend.
Yes, sir.
I'm not his lawyer. Just as a friend.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Me? Anyway.
So when you talk with Alec about the polygraph and come up with,
I'm not going to be able to talk to him. I'm going to have someone else talk to him.
that's fine.
Okay.
Let whoever you have talk to him about the polygraph. Just remind them or let them know this is what I'm saying. That it is another tool. If Alec did not do this, it is another tool.
Well, Alec did not do this.
Let me finish.
All right.
That will help exonerate or clear him, which we have done in the past with people taking polygraphs.
I can't advise him.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to.
All right. Can't advise him, and I take my friend hat off. You say that word, and I'm like, whoa, you need to talk to somebody before he says anything about that.
Okay.
Right?
I respect that.
It's a split cup.
Yes, sir.
I'll get that for you.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Y'all keep working, please.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Every day.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care. Y'all be safe. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.